As a man, if you think about it, when you do relapse, it's not random, it's intentional, it happens in a cycle, and it happens at specific points for specific reasons. But why is this? More importantly, why do we attack that? Why do we think that as men, if we have this sheer willpower or this unimaginable strength, we'll overcome it? That's simply not the case. Think of lusting. When you lust, do you fight it? No, you flee from it. The more you fight it, the more you're going to fail, the more you're giving your energy to it. And that's exactly what your bad habits want. So the truth is, you're going to keep on falling into the same predictable loops the more you try and fight the loop rather than going to the source. But once you can understand this loop, this source, and where it's all coming from, relapse stops becoming this emotional drama and more of a problem that can be tangibly solved. Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter. I'm an aspiring young man with aspirations greater than anyone will ever understand. And in today's video, I'm going to give you the rundown on why men keep on relapsing and how we can actually stop it for good. So the truth is, we got to realize something. The real reason why men relapse. So relapse is like the same three-step cycle. You get a trigger. Think of a World War II veteran. You point a gun at him, he's going to freak out, right? His buddies were shot. His friends were shot. Obviously, he's going to freak out. Let's say you're an abuse victim. Your abuser runs past you. You're going to freak out. Not because you're inherently weak or pathetic or not manly, but because pattern recognition and logic tells you, I got to move out of the way. A car is chasing at you. It's common knowledge to move out of the way, right? So you have these triggers. These triggers make us act impulsively, which forces a reaction. So most men try to fight the impulse or the reaction. You're sitting there, you're about to smoke, right? Or you're about to lust. Whatever your bad habit is, whatever the thing you don't want to relapse into is. And instead of trying to fight the source, you're trying to fight the impulse and the trigger. And because of that, you're trying to fight this impulse and this reaction, right? Not the trigger. So because of this, what happens is we think we're weak because we keep on failing and failing and failing. But the truth is we're not weak. We're just falling into what's familiar. We try to fight the difficult part rather than taking the easy route and just being smart and looking for the source because our brain returns to what is familiar. But the truth is, relapse isn't sudden. It's not this moment that just comes onto us all of a sudden that we're too weak to handle. Men think that relapse is like this, and then they think they're not strong enough to handle it. But the truth is, relapse is just the final step of an hours-long process, right? Relapsing starts the moment you wake up and the moment you start taking the bad decisions and failing to recognize the triggers. When you get out of bed and you don't recognize the triggers that cause you to lust or vape or smoke weed, whatever it is, those triggers will cause you to act impulsively and they will force a reaction. So instead of trying to fight your impulses and your reactions, go to the triggers, eliminate them. And that's where we find the environmental problem. Men think that they can overcome everything through sheer will, but the truth is your environment is a lot stronger than your intentions and your intuition and whatever strength you have. So when you're all alone or uninstructed or tired or bored, relapse becomes the default choice. It's what you're used to. Your body follows the room you're living in. So if you're in a dark room, you're likely to lust because you have nothing to see. When you're on your bed, you're going to probably use your phone, especially if it's beside you. And when you're just leaving your laptop alone, you're likely to relapse because you have no intention to do anything else. These are obscure and niche examples, but you can probably think, if you just sit for a good 5 minutes, about situations in your life where you have something in front of you that causes you to relapse or continue in this bad habit. I was using my phone late at night when I really shouldn't have, right? That was as a result of me leaving it next to me in my bed. I played video games because I re-downloaded them rather than just keeping my utensils and my proper school tools on my computer, no matter how strong it is. I should be using this beast of a computer to render and work on videos, not play video games. But a man who can take charge of his room, he can clean his habits, he can clean his environment, that will change his life faster than the man who just tries harder. Think of a millionaire. It doesn't matter how many hours you work in a week. If you're not getting paid the right amount of money, you'll never be a millionaire. So you have to set up the right systems to make the money, not work more hours or not work harder. You get what I'm saying? It's not about the hard work, it's about how you work. And that's where we find our identity. You're just some Joe Schmo, but a millionaire is a man who does this, this, and this. Likewise, a bodybuilder, he goes to the gym, he works hard. So if you want to be a bodybuilder, your actions have to follow your identity. So you relapse because you think you're weak, right? But the truth is, you need to fix your identity and like caress it around this idea that you're not weak. The sooner you can overcome this idea that you're weak or that you're pathetic, and the sooner that you can say, I'm a strong man who's not going to relapse, the sooner you won't. As long as you believe, the less of, I'm trying to quit, and more of, I will not relapse again because I'm strong, the sooner you can identify yourself as a man who's strong and won't relapse. You need this identity shift, right? You need to be the man who says, I'm not this man anymore. It was a part of my life and I'm done with it, right? Because your habits obey your identity, not the other way around, right? You are a millionaire and, you don't all of a sudden build the habits as soon as you reach that title. You work your habits up and then you achieve the title. But that's because you told yourself you wanted to become it. So likewise with your habits, if you want to overcome these habits, you don't overcome it and then all of a sudden the habits follow through. You have to tell yourself, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it, and then build the habits up. And then you'll succeed in that identity that you've been telling yourself you are. But you got to simplify it. There's no such thing as this black and white idea where you're either a man who's relapsing and then a man who's never relapsed ever again. There's a gray scale. You're a man who's relapsing, but why not become a man who is trying his best not to relapse? Sure, you can relapse, but you're telling yourself you're trying your best not to. So because of that, you can push closer. You're one step closer to being that man who's never going to relapse ever again. So how do we make this practical? How do we actually logically solve this problem? Right? Men love solutions, so how do we actually provide a solution? So here are 3 practical solutions. Remove the trigger. Whether it's putting your phone out of reach, or not isolating yourself when you feel like you're lustful, or blocking websites, or getting sunlight, or just food and fixing the basics, whatever it is, you got to remove the triggers, right? Additionally, you can replace the urge immediately. So when you feel like you have this urge to do something, do some push-ups, run away from it, have a cold shower, right? Walk outside, do something. Call it like you're restarting the body, or you're just rejigging everything, or you're running away, whatever it is. Right? Have a quick physical interruption. Just stand up and walk around for 30 seconds or 2 seconds or 1 second and then sit back down. Right? If you can impulsively just do the opposite of what you don't want to fall back into, it kind of just retweaks your mind. And then you got to reinforce your identity too. So say the new identity out loud. This is not who I am anymore. I want to be this new man. Think about it. Let's say just specifically with lust. If you're struggling with lust, you think, okay, I'm a man who lusts. But if you tell yourself, I'm a father who has children and a family I must provide for, it all of a sudden feels really weird to lust. So you have to work your way around this new identity that you want to become. So do something that's aligned with the new identity that you want to become for at least 2 minutes or something, right? You have to force yourself to get out of this urge or this desire that's based around finding the triggers and achieving this identity. But when relapse still happens, after all, we're not perfect, it's not the end. Relapse is data. It's more intuition that we can find. It's more knowledge that we can base and reflection that we can use to strengthen our bodies and our minds. So many men relapse and they think it's the end of the world. But if you can relapse, find something and say, I'm going to work harder, right? I'm going to look harder. I'm going to be smarter. Then you can be so much of a better man. The man who learns from his strong failures and the man who learns from his weakest moments is the man who hasn't really failed. You fail when you give up, not when you fall down. So if you can learn from every time you fall, that's how you can be successful in life. So you got to ask yourself, where was this trigger coming from? What part of the cycle did I fail? Where did I ignore it? Right? Your goal isn't perfection. It's just daily improvement. If you can get better 1% every day, you'll be 37% better by the end of the year. But oppositely, if you get 1% worse every day, you'll be almost at 0% if you just start at 1 by the end of the year. Learn that from James Clear, Atomic Habits. I recommend you read it. I guess one of my habits I got to work on is pronouncing my words better. But anyways, the point is, you don't stop relapsing by trying harder. You stop relapsing by becoming a different man. So you got to invite everyone to work within the time you have. Invite yourself to work within the time you have, right? Let's give you an example, or let's give you something to work on. I'm going to challenge you for the next 24 hours to not relapse. Specifically, I'm going to challenge you to not relapse within the next 24 hours, not through working hard, not through having willpower, not through forcing yourself, but by isolating what causes you to relapse. And make it easy, just for the next 24 hours. Don't relapse. Simply put, chuck your phone away, just for the day, just for 24 hours. Who cares? Who cares if you message them 24 hours late, or if you get something 24 hours late? Just chuck it away. This is your 24 hours dedicated to yourself. to just not fall back into that bad habit. Whatever it is. Doesn't have to be lust. It can be overeating even, right? Don't eat food. Fast for 24 hours. It sucks, but you're really focusing on those triggers and you might learn a bit, right? But overall, though, relapse is the beginning of the comeback, not the end. So don't see this setback as failure. See it as a setup for the comeback for the future man you're going to become. My name is Nolan T. Painter. I really hope you learned something from this video, and I pray that you can actually implement some of these things into your life. The best thing I've ever learned in life isn't, you gotta work hard. It's actually, you can do whatever you want to do if you work the right way. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.